Hello guys, welcome back to TFD, and oh boy, we've got something spicy to break down today, because it looks like Stephanie White has officially flipped the script when it comes to acknowledging what everybody with working eyes already knew. The Indiana Fever is Caitlin Clark's team, period. Let's keep it real for a second. None of us were tuning in to watch the Fever before Caitlin Clark showed up. These ladies were hooping in a glorified barn. Empty seats, echoes bouncing off the walls. It wasn't because they're bad players. It's just the truth. Nobody cared. Caitlin walks in and suddenly it's a national event. The meteoric rise, the ratings, the crowds, she changed everything. But here's the plot twist. Now, suddenly, Stephanie White is out here publicly admitting what she wouldn't say at the beginning of the offseason. Remember when she was talking about, oh, well, Kelsey Mitchell is our number one priority. She was our number one priority last year. She'll be our number one priority this year. Yeah, that tune has magically changed. And why? Because ownership got involved. Because somebody with actual authority pulled her aside and said, listen, this is Caitlin Clark's show. This franchise revolves around her now. Get on board or get out of the way. We heard the rumors, we heard the whispers that the owner's son stepped in and made it crystal clear that you do not fumble the biggest superstar the WNBA has ever seen. You do not downplay her impact. You do not build the system around anyone else. And ever since then, Stephanie White has been singing a brand new song. Now she's on Sue Bird's podcast, sounding like she's reading from a whole different script, talking about how everything is centered around Caitlin Clark, how the offense runs through her, how the team is built around her strengths. A complete 180. It's wild to watch. Because at the start of this offseason, fans were losing their minds. People were going off. And rightfully so, because it looked like they were about to repeat last year's mistakes all over again. It looked like they were ignoring the one person who changed their entire franchise overnight. But now, Stephanie White is finally saying out loud what everyone already knew. This is Caitlin Clark's team. Always was, always will be. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Let's listen to her first, then we come back.
How important was it to forge that relationship with her for all the reasons?
I mean, really important. I'd had just a little bit of a relationship with Caitlin from calling her games a number of times, when she was in college, but it was very important. Look, she's obviously the centerpiece of everything that we do. And most importantly for me was just connecting and building trust. I don't know how she does what she does and handles it so gracefully. I'm not sure, myself as a 23-year-old would have been able to handle it the way that she does and still perform at the elite level that she's able to perform, with and at. So building trust, getting to know her, I'm a firm believer that you have to coach and challenge your best players. And for me to be able to do that, I needed to earn her trust. And I need to be honest. I'm a very honest, transparent coach. You're gonna know, what I'm thinking or where I'm coming from. And if you don't, and you certainly want to ask, but I'm going to be honest, and I think that I certainly appreciate that about her. And I'm also the same kind of psycho that she is in terms of competitiveness. Now it comes out in different ways. But we both just really want to win and we want to set ourselves and our teammates up for success. And so it was really important for me, right away with her.
What'd you learn about those three that maybe you didn't realize from either covering them in college or coaching against them?
I think number one, just, with Kelsey's just a pro's pro. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's so low maintenance. She just wants to play. She reminds me of some of those guys back in the day who would just go to the park and just try to play pickup games. Yeah. That's her. She just wants to play. She wants to know that you care about her. She wants you to be honest with her. And at the end of the day, she's low maintenance, and you just have to put her in positions to be successful. And I was so excited about the opportunity to just see what we could do and how we could make her life easier, because she really is the one who had been through the trenches with this franchise.
Yeah.
You think about when Tamika left and retired. It just the franchise went through a lot, and Kelsey's been the constant, and she deserved the opportunity to be a part.
See, this is what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, Stephanie White is out here talking like she's finally figured out what time it is. And I'm sitting here like, who told you to get right? Who pulled you aside and made you straighten up? Because this didn't come from you naturally. This didn't come from some revelation you had while watching film. No. Somebody told you, hey, you better fix that tone ASAP. And it must be true, because we've heard the rumors for months that the owner's son stepped in, that he literally went to Stephanie White and said, hey, girl, tighten up. This is the CC show. This is the Caitlin Clark team. And if you don't like that, your ass can be up out of here. And now she's suddenly talking like she understands that Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of the Fever. She's the face of the entire WNBA. The WNBA is Caitlin Clark's league right now. Ratings, Caitlin. Sellouts, Caitlin. National buzz, Caitlin. You think ESPN is fighting for Fever games because of Kelsey Mitchell in the game? Stop it. Let's not play dumb. And yet Stephanie White was out here acting confused months ago, pushing this whole Kelsey this, Kelsey that agenda. She loves Kelsey. We all love Kelsey. But don't get it twisted. Don't pretend that the franchise revolves around anyone but Caitlin Clark. Now she's saying it. Now she's admitting it out loud. But before, she wanted no part of that truth. And let's be honest, that's why people don't trust her. That's why the fan base is side-eyeing her. Because we watched her make some questionable decisions last season. We watched her try to stick Caitlin at small forward like this was some kind of experiment. Small forward? For who? For what? We watched Caitlin literally have to check her on the way into the tunnel during that Atlanta Dream game. You remember that? Cameras caught the whole moment. Caitlin wasn't feeling what Stephanie White was doing. She wasn't feeling that offense. She wasn't feeling the ball being taken out of her hands and being handed to Ari McDonald like she was the point guard of the future. And CC had to snap on her a few times, respectfully, but firmly. So hopefully this year, Stephanie White walks in on day one actually understanding the mission, actually understanding the blueprint, actually understanding who the priority is. Because look, we'll give you credit. Yeah, you won some games with a makeshift roster. Yeah, you managed injuries. Yeah, you kept things afloat. That's cool. But that is not the job in Indiana anymore. The job here is simple. Win with Caitlin Clark as the centerpiece of the franchise. That's it. Nothing else matters. Nobody cares if you can steal a few games running plays for Ari McDonald or Natasha Howard. Respectfully, that is not the assignment. The assignment is maximizing the generational superstar you have. The assignment is building around CC. And sometimes Caitlin had to be the one to tell you when your coaching was sticking it up too. That's not a good sign. Listen, all that talk about Kelsey's team, enough. Kelsey can hoop, no doubt, but this is Caitlin Clark's team. It's obvious. It's been obvious. Everybody knows it. The only person who seemed confused was Stephanie White herself. And here's the thing. Time is ticking because Caitlin Clark is entering her third year. She's getting closer to the end of that rookie contract. And when she gets there, she will have leverage. She will have options. She will have every right to say, if y'all aren't building this team around me the right way, move me or lose me for nothing. Nobody has time to play games with Stephanie White. Not this year. So get in the comments and tell me, do y'all actually believe Stephanie White this time? Do you think she's going to make Caitlin Clark the centerpiece like she claims? Or is she just talking because ownership forced her hand? Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.